Hey everyone, it's Kevin DeSilva here with the Living in Los Angeles channel. Are you thinking about moving to Manhattan Beach? Have you ever wondered which neighborhoods are the most affordable? Well, that's what this video is all about. So let's take a look. Here at the Living Los Angeles channel, our mission is simple. We want to share the best information with you about the real estate markets along the coastline of Los Angeles so that you can make better decisions for your living situation and make more money from it. So follow along with our videos. And if you like what you're seeing and you want to be the first one to implement these strategies in your life, hit the subscribe button, turn on the notifications so that you can be the first one to see every time we premiere a video. Let's get back to Manhattan Beach. I'm going to flip this camera around and share with you some insights about which are the best areas to buy in Manhattan Beach if affordability is top of mind. So I'm going to swap this around. So Manhattan Beach is a small city. It's about 3 miles by 3 miles here south of Los Angeles International Airport, or as we call it, LAX Airport. Manhattan Beach is one of the 3 beach cities. It's Manhattan Beach, Hermosa Beach, and Redondo Beach. It is south of El Segundo, which is also another great community, which we will cover on a different video, and is generally surrounded also by Hawthorne and Redondo Beach. Manhattan Beach itself is known for its school district, its safety, and its wonderful weather. Most of all of Los Angeles is well known for its wonderful weather, but Manhattan Beach in particular has some of the best beaches in all of LA. In fact, the Manhattan Beach Pier is world known. Tourists come from around the world when they visit Los Angeles to the Manhattan Beach Pier, and that's why downtown Manhattan Beach is such a booming place to be, with all the shops and the different restaurants and the scenery. And around the holidays, you will see the pier lit up like a Christmas tree. So let's familiarize ourselves with some of the neighborhoods of Manhattan Beach. The general areas, it is broken down into 6 distinct areas. The sand section is one, and as we spoke on another video, this section is actually broken to 4 neighborhoods. Then you have the tree section, which itself is broken into 2 neighborhoods, but price-wise is broken into 4 different areas. Then you have the Manhattan Village, Liberty Village and Manhattan Heights, and the Mira Costa section, which formerly was called East Manhattan. And finally, the Hill section. Now, I will start off with the Hill section and the Sand section are not the cheapest sections of Manhattan Beach. I repeat, the Hill section and the Sand section are not the most affordable sections of Manhattan Beach. Not only do they have the highest prices on average, which is the Hill section, but they also have the highest price per square foot, which means for the size of the home, you pay the most money in the Sand section. So let's just go ahead and scrap that. The 4 cheapest areas or most affordable areas in Manhattan Beach are East Manhattan, or the Mira Costa section, Manhattan Heights, Liberty Village, and the most affordable is the Manhattan Village. The tree section ranks as the 4th most affordable. However, it does jump $200 per square foot. Now that we're familiar with the different neighborhoods, why don't we take a look at how they price? So I'm on a price per square foot. I do always like to look at the price per square foot of homes because this tells me how much I'm paying for the size of the home. Because in a particular neighborhood, there might be smaller homes, but if they're higher price per square foot, I'm actually paying the same amount of money, maybe a little bit less, for significantly less space. Whereas in another neighborhood like the Hill section, where the homes are commonly significantly bigger, I'm paying a higher price, but the cost of the actual square footage is cheaper. So that's what I like to look at. And so whenever I'm looking at market changes, I also look at price per square foot changes to determine, is the market actually falling, or were there just a number of sales of smaller homes that traditionally have higher price per square foot? So as you can see here, for most of the last 3 years, Manhattan Village has ranked as the most affordable area of Manhattan Beach. Now, this is a gated community. It is the only gated community in all of Manhattan Beach. There are other townhome complexes which I can share with you, but this is the only one that has like a guard gate at the front, something you would expect from a traditional gated community. It does have a number of amenities, which makes it very nice, but the homes there are generally smaller, and they are planned urban developments, or some of them condos. So, they do have an HOA fee. The guard at the front does get paid through your HOA fee. They maintain all of the vegetation around the property and the pools and all the different amenities. That said, it is regularly the most affordable area of Manhattan Beach. The second most affordable area tends to go up and down between East Manhattan, otherwise known as the Mira Costa section, and Liberty Village / Manhattan Heights. These areas toggle back and forth between price per square foot, and as of right now, the average price per square foot in Manhattan Beach Heights / Liberty Village is about $1,200 per square foot. That would mean that if you bought a 2,000 square foot home, you would be looking at spending about 2.4, and I know from the homes that are selling in the area, that is about right. It's about $2.4 to $2.5 million. One thing to take into consideration in this area, there are fewer new construction, and new construction tend to bring up the average price per square foot and the overall price. And because there are fewer new construction in the area, there are more commonly older homes selling in the neighborhood. This can keep average price down. And as you see here, when we switch over to the average sales price, I am on a 12-month rolling average, just because I like to have more than 100 data points whenever I'm analyzing this. But I'm on a 12-month rolling average because I want to make sure that I have in each month as close to 100 as possible. In the last year, there were 32 sales in Manhattan Village. In the last year, there were 66 sales in Manhattan Beach Heights / Liberty Village. In the last year, there were 156 sales in the tree section, and this is one of the biggest areas of Manhattan Beach, but that is a lot of sales. And then there are 108 in the Mira Costa section. They're doing a lot of new construction in the Mira Costa section because there are a number of larger 7,500 square foot lots, including some of the largest lots in Manhattan Beach exist there. That said, as you can see here, the tree section is clearly the highest priced of the most affordable areas. The Manhattan Beach Mira Costa section, otherwise known as East Manhattan, is the second highest price of the most affordable areas. Manhattan Beach Heights and Liberty Village is the third or the second most affordable area of Manhattan Beach, with the Manhattan Village area coming in as the most affordable. So let's take a look at what's on the market in these areas and what has recently sold. So I'm gonna turn on active and coming soon. So coming soon is an MLS status that allows agents to share properties with other agents, and through the sharing of those properties, the agents who receive it can then share it with their clients. It is a highly advantageous way to market homes to other agents so that they can start talking to their buyers about your property before you even come on market. That said, let's take a look at this. So I'm going to highlight the 4 most affordable areas. I don't know that I would actually count the tree section as an affordable area. As you can see here, the average price of, the average price of homes sold is significantly higher than any of the other neighborhoods. To be honest with you, I'm not sure that I would count the tree section as one of the most affordable areas. It is the third most expensive area of Manhattan Beach, and for that reason, I'm actually going to remove it from our analysis. As you can see here, the average price is at almost $1 million. It's about $800,000 more than the lower areas. So I'm going to remove it from our analysis. So as you can see from our analysis, although the tree section is the fourth the fourth most affordable place in Manhattan Beach. It's also the third most expensive. And since there are 6 areas of Manhattan Beach, I'm going to say that we take the tree section of Manhattan Beach off the most affordable list, and let's just focus on the 3, the Manhattan Village, East Manhattan, otherwise known as Mira Costa area, and Liberty Village / Manhattan Heights. So I'm gonna turn the camera back around so we can take a look at those areas and see where the best deals are and what are the cheapest prices so that you can start living out your dream of living in Manhattan Beach. Okay, one thing you're gonna see in common with these is that all 3 areas are east of Sepulveda. There is a rule of thumb that the further west you go, the more expensive the home gets. That doesn't exist everywhere in Los Angeles, but on the west side and in the South Bay, it is generally speaking, the further west you go, the more expensive the home gets. Some areas that break that mold, which I will show you on here, Bel Air, significantly expensive, more expensive than Brentwood. Beverly Hills, also very expensive, more expensive than Brentwood and Westwood. So Beverly Hills is over here. But these are some exceptions to the rule. For the most part, the Palisades is more expensive than Santa Monica. The further west you go in Santa Monica, the more expensive the home gets. The further west you go in Venice, the more expensive. Here, there's a hill right here, so this is also one exception to the rule. This is Mar Vista. But let's get back to Manhattan Beach because you're not here for that. In Manhattan Beach, the rule very much exists. The closer you get to the sand, the more expensive the home gets. There's a few reasons for that. One, there are more restaurants and shops by the sand. We talked about this in our other video. With so many tourists visiting Manhattan Beach, naturally, they want to eat, they want to shop, and so a bunch of shops and restaurants open up, and they happen to be where all the tourists are. Well, the tourists like to hang out by the beach, and so the best restaurants in Manhattan Beach are all by the beach. So when you're living in Manhattan Beach, you live closer to the shops and restaurants, you pay more money because you can just park your car on the weekend, go walk. Assuming your kids don't have any events further away, you could theoretically walk around or drive your golf cart everywhere. That said, there's another reason why things get more expensive the closer you get to the beach. The beach, and especially the view of the beach, significantly increases the cost of the home. Views in Manhattan Beach can be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars depending on what kind of view you have. A home with a view will easily sell hundreds of thousands of dollars more expensive than a home without one, making it more valuable. So that is the second reason why homes are more expensive the closer you get to the beach. And the third reason is walking distance to the beach. A lot of people move to Manhattan Beach to enjoy the very thing that is in its name, the beach. It's one of the best beaches in all of Los Angeles. So when the closer you are to the beach, the easier it is to walk to the beach. It kind of goes hand in hand with the restaurants. It just so happens the restaurants are also there. But being able to walk to the beach and not have to hassle for parking is a huge plus of living within a mile or a half mile of the beach. And that's why those homes are some of the most expensive in all of the city. Let's get back to the most affordable though. The most affordable are east of Sepulveda. Now these homes have great schools. There's nothing wrong about these homes. In fact, I will share with you one of my favorite neighborhoods. I grew up in the tree section, which is the third most expensive area of Manhattan Beach, and the fourth most affordable. So we've already determined that this area is not necessarily affordable by any metric since it's $800,000 more expensive on average. But I will say that it is not my favorite section. One thing I don't like about the tree section is how small the lots are. In fact, some of the smallest lots in Manhattan Beach exist in the sand section and in the tree section. It is very common for a home to sit on 4,400 square feet of land, 4,200 square feet of land, and that is a normal sized lot for the tree section. Whereas when you go east to Sepulveda, the lots regularly kick up to about 5,500 to 6,000 to 7,000 square feet. That is a significantly larger plot of land. Also, as much as I love seeing the ocean, there's no doubt about it, the ocean view, watching the sunset, is an amazing aspect about living close to the beach. I equally get as much rise out of looking at the city. And when you are east of Sepulveda, depending on where you are in the hill, you're able to see downtown Los Angeles and the mountains and the airplanes landing. We were on a hill facing east, and I could watch the airplanes land as a kid. I do love watching airplanes. That's one of the other reasons why I continue to live near the airport. That, and it's really nice, to be able to get to your gate in 20 minutes after leaving your house. So let's turn this around. All right, so currently on market are these homes. So give me just 1 second. We're going to go here. And the cheapest home to be able to get into is a townhouse. Now, these townhomes are by Polywog Park. This is a great area, and you can still walk to the beach from here. This is only about 1.5 miles from the beach. I know this because I live slightly east of this, and I'm 1.8 miles from the beach. So you are still walking distance by many measures. And it's also a quick drive. You just turn out onto Manhattan Beach Boulevard. But this is the cheapest home on market. Let's actually look at some of the cheapest homes on market that have sold in the last year. I'm going to go into here, and we're going to take a look at what are the cheapest homes that have sold. So this particular property is on Manhattan Beach Boulevard. This one had sold, This one had sold, it was 48 days on market. Manhattan Beach Boulevard is a busier street, which is part of the reason why this home was only $1,090,000. It's also a condo. It's the third unit of a complex, and it's only 2 bedrooms. It's also quite small, 930 square feet. That said, moving on, you have a number of these homes on Manhattan Beach Boulevard that are selling, but they are all 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom condos. Moving a little bit further down the line, we get a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, also condo. Keep in mind, townhomes are condos. This one's a little bit nicer, multi-story, but once again, still under 1.2 million, sold in 18 days. Now we're getting around the corner. We're off the busy street. The prices start to go up. And once again, these are townhomes over by Polywog Park and the old Manhattan Beach Intermediate School. They moved the middle school from Manhattan Beach Intermediate to Manhattan Beach Middle School, which is the current school that everybody uses. It is the only middle school in all of Manhattan Beach. And so Manhattan Beach Middle School, no matter where you live in the city, your kids will be going to school there, just like Mira Costa High School. It's the same thing. Now, Mira Costa High School does allow kids from Hermosa Beach. Hermosa Beach kids, I should say parents are usually the ones who make the choice. But Hermosa Beach parents get to choose whether their kids go to Redondo Beach Union High School or to Mira Costa High School, which is the Manhattan Beach High School. That said, 1457 Manhattan Beach Boulevard. And we're still on these busy streets. These are 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 1,200. Now we start moving into 3 bedrooms. These are on 11th Street. This one is by a number of restaurants. And in fact, one of my favorite Hawaiian restaurants happens to be right around the corner from this. We also love India Tandoori. It's an amazing restaurant. These are all walking distance to that. There's a urgent care at the end of this street, which, very convenient. If kids are sick, you don't even have to get in your car. Parking is relatively easy to find at the urgent care, but something to take into consideration. And across the street from this is the Target. So, really easy to get to the Target. There's Wells Fargo at the other corner. There's a number of things on this area that are great, easy to walk to. Highly recommend it. And you're by the fire station. So, if you ever need an emergency, they're probably going to be really quick to your house. That said, let's move to these homes. So, as you see on the map, some of the more affordable homes are on busier streets. Not a surprise. But the 3 most affordable areas outside of Manhattan Village, which we'll get to next, are in East Manhattan, otherwise known as the Mira Costa section, off of Artesia. A number of homes have recently sold there. There's one for sale that has been pending for about $1.5 million. Another one for $1.3 million. These are in adjacent complexes, both great areas. Then you have back here in this little triangle, there are 2 little triangles east of Aviation that are actually technically Manhattan Beach. That also includes the AAA, the Automotive Club of America. And then this section right here, which sell for about $1.4 million, is actually where we moved to recently. We enjoy it very much. A number of the complexes have amenities and some don't. So like, for instance, these ones over here don't really have any amenities. There's no pool, there's no playground, there's no park. One thing we do love about this is that the playground is right outside our house, which makes it really, really fun for the kids. Let me go over here to customer full, just to give you an insight. So it's on Aviation Place. It was built in 2001. This is one of the smaller ones, is 1,646 square feet. Ours is closer to 1,800 square feet. And then I think there are a couple that are a little bit bigger, but they're all stacked. One cool thing is that there's a really nice Thai restaurant, which I shared on another video, which is the Garden Thai. Really amazing Thai food. The boba place unfortunately went out of business, but they are in the process of adding something else there. So $1.4 million will get you a larger townhome in a community with some amenities. Parking is also really good in this pocket. Let's head over, and then generally speaking, you can still buy a small fixer on a small lot for under $1.4 million or $1,400,000. You know, it's up to you. If townhomes aren't really what you're looking for, then I do recommend something like this. Now let's move north. Let's go. We have a number of, you know, fixers and teardowns. This one's slightly fixed up. It's decent. You know, somebody will buy this and fix this up for themselves. Not everybody comes into Manhattan Beach just, you know, waiting to completely renovate a house. Do keep in mind, if you're under $1.5 million, you're probably going to buy a townhome if you want it to be in very good condition. So let's look at, and I'm going to do this let's look at the most affordable pocket of Manhattan Beach. So getting off of a busy street, getting into a community with a lot of amenities, let's look at this. So I'm going to go over here to customer full, and we're just going to highlight through some of these. So these are townhomes attached. There are detached homes that are PUDs. So this one is a condo. This one, change out the floors. You know, these are built in the 80s. So this community came after the Manhattan Beach Mall. As you can see here, sold for, originally listed for $1,529,000, sold for $1,449,000. Then they do go up in price from there, but these homes are generally bigger. You know, they're around 1,500 square feet. This one's a 2-bed, 2-bath, 2-bed, 2-bath. Then there are a number of 3 bedrooms as well. As you can see here, these are all 2 bedrooms. And then let's up the price a little bit to show you. So we've already seen these ones. Let's get into the 3 bedrooms. So the 3 bedrooms start at around $1.7 million. And these ones are nice. They're bigger, you know, like this one was almost 2,000 square feet. This one is a really nice 2-bedroom. And then these ones over here, also really nice 2-bedroom. But then we start seeing, you know, much closer to 2,000 square feet, much closer to 2,000 square feet, over 2,000 square feet, over 2,000, you know, over 2,000 square feet, almost 2,000 square feet. So, you know, under 2 million. My friend sold this one. Preview day is really cool property, but around 2,000 square feet, you know, 2,300 square feet. So as we've seen, most of the other townhomes in Manhattan Beach have been on or close to busy streets, except for the ones by Polywalk Park, which is Liberty Village, Manhattan Heights. So, you know, they tend to be much smaller in that section. So although those ones are the cheapest, they're condos and townhomes. Those ones are the cheapest. They're around $1 million to, you know, $1.3 million. They also happen to be the smallest, 2-bedroom, 2-bath. Some are just flats. Then you move over to $1.3 to $1.4 million, and you're around Mira Costa High School section, East Manhattan, off of Aviation and off of Artesia. As we can see here, the Manhattan Village is not necessarily cheap by any measure, except for you're not going to break the bank by moving in there. You know, compared to buying outside in a traditional neighborhood. As we can see here, the most affordable way to buy in Manhattan Beach is a townhome or a condo. Then the next step up is a freestanding home of some sort, which you can get in the Manhattan Village. And then the next step is to buy a smaller house. And the more of a fixer it is, the better of a deal you can get. That said, these homes were built predominantly in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, so these homes aren't necessarily new by any measure. So if you want something with, you know, more likely to have copper plumbing, more likely to have better electrical systems, you're going to want to get a townhouse. Since we're on the topic of affordability, let's talk about some of the most affordable restaurants and grocery stores to shop at while you're in Manhattan Beach. I'm going to implant the school part. So let's, this part, I'm going to do two sections. When I talk about Mira Costa High School, after that section, when I was down here, over here, I'm going to talk about Penny Camp. And then when I talk about this, I'm going to talk about Meadows. Okay. So let's go. One thing about the most affordable areas in Manhattan Beach is that you would think, well, are the schools still good? And the answer is yes. So let me share with you about the schools. So generally speaking, the most affordable areas in Manhattan Beach, Manhattan Village, Manhattan Beach Heights, Liberty Village, and East Manhattan / Mira Costa. These areas are serviced by Meadows Elementary School and Penny Camp Elementary School. Meadows Avenue Elementary School is ranked as the number 118 best school in California, has an A grade on niche.com. And the Aurelia Penny Camp Elementary School is ranked number 134 best public schools in California, also with an A grade. From niche, obviously great test scores as we scroll down here, 83%, 84% math, very similar, 92% in reading, 82% math. Manhattan Beach is very well known for its schools. The school district is actually the number 12 school district in all of Los Angeles area, has an A+ grade on niche.com, and as you scroll down here, is the number 19 in all of California for student athletes, is the number 25 in the entire state of California, and is in the top 100 places to teach in the entire state. Manhattan Beach is, generally speaking, one of the best school districts in the South Bay. The only two school districts that are better than the Manhattan Beach School District are the Redondo Beach Unified School District and the Palos Verdes Unified School District. Since we're on the topic of affordability, I do want to touch on what are the most affordable ways to shop, to eat, and to dine out in Manhattan Beach. Oh, shouldn't forget, where's the most affordable gas in Manhattan Beach too? That's a good one. So I'm going to turn this around just to wrap up our affordability aspect. Let's look at gas stations. So the most affordable gas station in Manhattan Beach is the Arco. Now, one aspect about Arco is that Arco does require debit card or cash for the most part. That said, this gas station has closed down. Conversely, it says $4.80 for regular. I actually find that this Chevron over here on El Segundo Boulevard in Sepulveda, or they call it PCH. Most Beach calls it PCH. Manhattan Beach still calls it Sepulveda. And this Chevron all have the same price. This Arco is typically the cheapest. It says $4.80, but when you actually go there, it is cheaper. I think you have to publish your credit card rate or something like that. That said, if you pay cash, it is significantly cheaper there. And this mobile here is $4.58 per gallon. So these are the cheapest. Now, in my experience, this Chevron down here, and the other one right here are not the cheapest. They're usually the most expensive. As far as that gets gas out of the situation, let's talk about restaurants. So this one, I'm going to just search them one by one. So lunch specials are huge, but there are a number of restaurants which are affordable. They don't break the bank. One is Tomboy's. It is a burger place. They also serve breakfast. They're really good. Tomboy's, there are two locations, one in Manhattan Beach, one in Hawthorne. They're known for the burgers. They also make really good milkshakes. They're chili burgers. It's right here by Polywog Park and Manhattan Beach Middle School. We also really love the Garden Thai. As you can see, I search this restaurant frequently. We live in the complex above it, so I'm actually having lunch there with the wife today. That said, they have amazing lunch specials, and they have different types of curry, which are really good. The cheapest sushi so far that I have found which I recently discovered is over by our office. So you can see Kevin Silver Group. We are right here on Rosecrans, and the sushi restaurant that I recently found has amazing lunch specials is the Rice Teriyaki Sushi Roll restaurant. I was able to get two rolls for $20 on their lunch special, and you can get 3 rolls for $30 if you want to go that route. And the rolls were good. Like I got a spicy tuna roll and one of their designer rolls. With the 3 roll special, you get a spicy tuna roll or California roll plus 2 designer rolls. So I found that to be, so that's the most affordable sushi in Manhattan Beach. Those are some of the most affordable burgers in Manhattan Beach. Good burgers. If you do want, In-N-Out is right over here. It's technically in Redondo Beach, but it's right around the corner. So if you wanted to go to this In-N-Out, there's one here, and obviously one over by the airport, which is in El Segundo. That, I fed the family of 5 yesterday for $36. That, my friend, and we all got French fries and burgers and everything. So it was really good. Now, as far as specials go, the Hangar Inn actually has some amazing specials. Today's Wednesday. They have the Chili Verde special. I believe on Tuesdays they have their burger special. And as I mentioned in my other video, they fry their own potato chips, which is really good. As you can see here, I don't personally drink, but it is a bar. They used to have a pool table. They got rid of it. That said, pulled pork sandwiches, burgers, they have a bunch of dishes, and the food's really good. Since we're on the topic of food, let's talk about the prices for the different grocery stores. Ralph's is one of the most affordable grocery stores, at least for what I'm looking for. Now, around the corner and up Rosecrans, right on the other side of the freeway, is actually Food for Less. It is a little bit cheaper. It is still a Ralph's Kroger brand. Kroger owns both Food for Less and Ralph's, so everything you would find at Ralph's also exists at Food for Less. That said, in between the two is a Costco, and if you're going to try to save money, this is the best way to feed your family. We do most of all of our grocery shopping at Costco. There is a Trader Joe's. I do find that Trader Joe's, I like to get client gifts. Trader Joe's has some of the best wine. There are 2 Trader Joe's in Manhattan Beach. There's one over here on Rosecrans, and then there's another one over here on Manhattan Beach Boulevard. This is by that mobile station. And last but not least, let's talk about clothing stores in Manhattan Beach. You don't want to have to drive far to be able to get clothing for your kids, for yourself, for friends or family, for birthday parties, anything like that. Obviously, we all order stuff online, but it does help to try stuff on. I mean, I don't know about you, but it does help to see how something fits. Otherwise, I end up returning it. And if I really needed it, returning it is not an option. I end up having to go to the store anyway. So let's take a look at the cheapest and least cheapest, and the most affordable. So obviously Target's going to be some of the most affordable clothing. Kids burn through clothes. They slide on their knees all the time. I do happen to like Target board shorts. I like the pockets in them. And I grew up surfing. So, that says a lot. But, when I go to the beach, I like to be able to put my phone in my pockets, and the single side pocket just really doesn't work on most brand name board shorts. So I am actually a connoisseur of the Target board shorts because they actually work better. I'm more of a function over fashion kind of guy. They happen to be cheaper as well, but you could always get stuff on sale. I mean, so Target is one of the cheapest all around. In the Manhattan Beach Mall, generally not cheap. However, Macy's regularly has sales. In fact, I don't have it in here, but I bought a Samsonite backpack, really good backpack. It was a $250 backpack. I got it for under $100. And Samsonite, I've had Samsonite luggage last me years. I had one bag that my dad gave me back when I was in junior college. It barely broke about 3-4 years ago. So that just goes to show how long. Nordstrom Rack is in El Segundo, but this is a great way to shop Nordstrom items at a much lower price. Old Navy can have sales. Their credit card, my wife has their credit card. It's really good. But that is the last of the affordable clothing stores in Manhattan Beach. Generally speaking, then you end up having to go east, which is not a problem, over by the Food for Less and the Costco. Costco has closed. I don't really shop there. It's not my thing, but I know a number of people who do. My wife did give me these really cool shorts that are like waterproof as well. I do like them. They're like athletic, but there's a Ross, a TJ Maxx over there by the Food for Less. So I know we're stepping outside of Manhattan Beach, but these are really close to home. So that wraps up our Manhattan Beach affordability video. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed sharing my expertise and my knowledge with you. Please take a moment to hit the subscribe button, turn on your notifications so that you can be the first to see whenever we publish these videos, and start to implement our tips and tricks into your living situation so that you can become wealthier simply off living in the home that you choose.